Hello and welcome to the CloudFolks Hub. My name is Bhavesh Atara and you are learning Elastic Container Service. Inside ECS, we have to set up task definition. And when we are going to set up task definition, we have lots of options to understand. From previous 4 to 5 videos, I am actually explaining you all these network modes. Now, we already discuss about all these modes, but I want to talk about something related to the port mapping options based on this network mode. This is one of the favorite interview question. So I thought let's understand port mapping related to the various network mode options. This is for your knowledge. We can say that not for your examination. So let's start. As you know that in ECS Task Definition, if we are going to choose Fargate, we have only one option available, AWS VPC. And if we are going to choose Amazon EC2, we have all these 5 options available. Now none means what? If I'm going to select none, means my container accessibility is completely off from outside world. So there is no discussion needed for none. So we are going to talk about all these 4 options step by step. I have this proper mind map. Let's start with this mind map. How network mode affects task definition. I'm going to start with AWS VPC mode. In AWS VPC mode, do you need port mapping? No needed. IP type, on private IP. When we are using AWS VPC mode, your task will have ENI directly connected, right? And your task will be accessible directly from the VPC. So whatever the port number you are going to assign to your task will be accessible directly. So if you look at over here, if I'm going to choose AWS VPC mode and going to scroll down my container, I'm only getting container port, right? So we just need to assign port number of the container. That's all, specifically in AWS VPC mode. Now we have second option known as bridge mode. Now in the bridge mode, I explained you earlier as well that we have virtual bridge running inside container host, the bridge having an IP address, and bridge is also going to provide IP address to all the tasks. In this case, actually host ENI is shared. Now if you want to access any particular task, let's say that this task is running on this particular host with IP 172.10.10.2 and port number 80. So how you can access this? You will use host port. If you want to access any application running inside this task T1, you have to use host port, right? So you will use like this 172.16.10.10. If outsider sending over here accessing this T1 task, he will write like 172.16.10.10. It is going to use host IP. Then there is a port number. We call it host port. And then IP address and container port. So specifically in bridge mode, we are actually doing port mapping. We have to define host port and container port. Let's say that we have task T2. How I am going to access this? 172.16.10.10:8081. Now 8081 is a host port. And we want to map this with 172.10.10.3:80. So if you will access, if you want to access T1 application, you will write like this 172.16.10.10. The port mapping will work over here. So 8080 will forward it to 80 of 172.10.10.2 and 8081 will be forwarded to the 10.3:80. So in the bridge mode, you have to go for the port mapping. You have to configure port mapping. Look at this. Here I am going to select bridge mode. And once you go to the container, you will get this host port, container port. Why? Host port means this one. host ENIs IP and then the port number that you are assigning over here. And the container port means this particular port, right? So, in the bridge mode, port mapping needed 100% yes. Yes, container port, host port mapping. IP type shared host, because here we are going to share ENI of our container host among any task running inside specific container host, right? So yeah, port mapping is needed in the bridge mode. Now, here the third mode we have is actually default. Now default means what? Default means specifically netting for the Windows container host. So if you are using Windows container, you are going to use default mode, because Linux container host supports bridge mode and Windows container host is not supporting bridge mode. So it supports default mode, means kind of netting, but it is the same like a bridge, but it is for only window. So in the default mode, you have to set up the host port and container port, right? So port mapping is also needed in the bridge mode. Same way, port mapping is also needed for the default mode. Bridge mode is for Linux, default for Windows container host, right? In both of this case, you need to set up port mapping. In the host mode, we are not going to...
Sorry to interrupt you. I know you guys are enjoying our video a lot, because our final ultimate goal is Solution Architect Certification exam. To reach the destination, we required full videos. Path number 1, our 6-in-1 program. Our 6-in-1 program include all prerequisite skills which is needed as a cloud engineer. It include 24/7 support, lifetime update, section-wise practice test, full course practice test with tips and tricks by Bhavesh Atara, how to do exam preparation course, weekly lifetime live session with Bhavesh Atara, and 6 AWS project with documents. Path number 2, you can enroll by paying 499 and get Hindi and English, both the languages, videos of AWS. The choice is yours how to create your success story by choosing best one. Best of luck. Thank you.